Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Dan Rock's Rockbox. Hope we're all well and everybody has had a nice day. We've just had a little storm over in Exeter, but hope everyone else is good. So I've just had my princess of a cat on my lap. All the while I've been doing these lives, she's never showed me any attention whatsoever, but in the last 5 minutes she was on my lap and wanted a lot of fuss, and now my string of thought has gone. So while I try and get my thought pattern back, if we want to just tap in to the crystal connections and just to see hey Sarah, absolutely long time no see. Oh, must have been all of what, half an hour. So yeah, if anyone wishes to share their crystal connections, please feel free. And then once that is over, we will get on with tonight's topic of conversation. And hopefully it will appeal to a lot of you. I know there's some people who may be on their journey, but if there's some people who would like to start, then that's what we'll talk about. Yes, a good storm. A good storm. Well, I was talking to Naomi earlier, from Naomi Hart, who was on the other week. I was talking to her earlier, and it did come over. It was very black over Bill's mothers. And then as soon as I stopped talking to her, the blue skies came. And then I was having another conversation with somebody else, another video call, just to check in on a friendly face to make sure that she's all good. And yeah, it was thunder and lightning. So very, very, and hopefully people have been starting getting their parcels. Thank you all so much for the people who have sent me pictures, sent me a message. So yeah, thank you for letting me know, because it is a big trust putting these little bundles of joy into the hands of the post office. So I'm glad they're all reaching out to you. And if anybody's needing to pick up, we have got a social distancing action in place to pick up the crystals. You didn't do yesterday, so decided to go rogue and sleep with my aquamarine. I had a great night's sleep, very calm, with the sound of rain outside. I felt very cozy. Yes, I love aquamarine. It's a brilliant stone, calming, absolutely. But it's that water connection. For anyone who was on last night with Ro, what a brilliant night. She's an absolute scream, that girl. Absolute scream. She was talking about how water is up at the moment, and it really reflects with me. Water is there. So I think even with all this weather, even though I was a little bit concerned, because when we see grey, our moods tend to dampen and go a little bit down. But I think there's a lot of healing in this weather, in this rain. So I think that's given us the upliftment so we can still ride the storm and not allow the grey clouds to dampen it. So, yeah, the talking plants were amazing. Absolutely brilliant. Reminded me a bit of, like, you know, the 80s when they used to have those plastic plants that if you spoke to, they would. It was nature's version of that for me. It was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. So, anybody else with connections? I do know quite a few of you do private message me your connections, so don't feel you do have to put these on here. Hi, Kirsty. Hi, Sandra. To red sardonyx, got mountain and strength. Absolutely beautiful. Yeah, yeah, sardonyx and that red really bringing you into your own. So a perfect stone to connect with for your low energy there, Anne. Beautiful. And that's it. Don't feel you need to stick with a stone. If you feel like something else needs to bring it in. I connected and carried today. My head was a bit all over the show before connecting, but the crystal seemed to clear it all and allowed me to focus. I was in a crystal cave behind a waterfall and had a sense that the waterfall and the cave were protecting me and shielding me from too much chatter and too much to do. Felt very lovely. Was this still the aquamarine, Lucy? So if that is still your aquamarine, brilliant. And funny enough, when I've been working with my piece of aquamarine this week, and I've really felt that it's taking me out of my throat and it's really coming up here. So that was interesting that you got that clearing around your head, which I love. That's absolutely fine. And yeah, brilliant. It was the aquamarine. Thank you for that. So yeah, the protecting, the shielding, perfect, beautiful. So I am just I am just totally loving my Larimar. Definite sea turtle and mermaid vibes. Really calming and gentle. I really get the water energy, but also there is quite a gentle grounding earthiness. Yeah. And I feel of a higher connection the more I'm working with it. Yeah. I feel like it's got everything to offer. I have noticed my throat feeling quite treacly and clearing this week too. Perfect. So yeah, and don't be afraid if some of these do take you to the higher realms, and especially when we're working with the throat. We've now left the lower chakras and the midway chakra, the heart. Now we're on the spiritual chakras. The lower chakras are your physical, earthy chakras. So with this one, don't be afraid if it's taking you elsewhere. And with it being the throat, it's that communication, it's that express. And we will need that property when we visit the other higher chakras where we need to express and to communicate. So, yeah, I mean, Larimar is called the dolphin stone. It has such strong energy to the dolphin. And we connect, as Jennifer Jones was saying, on a telepathy area. So again, we're going up here to really connect and harness into the sea mammals. So beautiful connection, Sarah. Carolyn, I unpacked my parcel today and intuitively I placed my dragon skull on my third eye and I could see through dragon's eyes overlooking ancient lands. Lovely. Now feel very positive and full of energy. Can't wait to work more with him. Cleansed everything and he is now with my other dragon skull and can get to know each other. Beautiful, beautiful. And I have seen over on your Facebook page, on your business page, that he is part of your card reading. So if after this show, if you want to pop over onto Carolyn's Facebook page and see the card readings that she's going to reveal, pick a card and then she'll reveal them, you'll see this beautiful dragon. Lovely. Reconnecting rather than connecting. Absolutely. He's got some energy. He's a beauty. I love the geode in his eye. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, yes. May try that at my feet when I sleep. Give it a whirl. Answers on a postcard. Let me know tomorrow how you get on with that, Anne. Beautiful. Sarah, I've been drawn to putting it on my third eye chakra as well as the throat. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely. When we get to here, we tend to kind of, even though we stick with the same colours, but we can interlink. Hence why some people bring lapis and sodalite and kyanite. They'll bring them down to here, which to me I feel are more third eye, but whatever suits whatever. And people would take throats and bring them up to here, which is why I brought blue lace up to the third eye, because I didn't have no room for it in the throat chakra. So I thought, put it there. And then also the third eye to the crown, and the crown to the third eye. Those purples, some people bring to the third eye or take them up to the crown. So whatever you feel guided doing, go with that flow. It's beautiful. Thank you all so much. Ah, that's lovely, Carolyn. Oh, you deserve a lion, Anne. You deserve a lion. Absolutely. So, if everybody is here and we've all connected and we're all happy, I would just like to start on a Thursday, just going through what we're going to be doing after everything has gone, has eased off as much as it can. So we've had quite a few questions, quite a few private messages about our workshops, what we do, what it entails. And Adam and myself thought it would be nice to have a discussion and just to go through what the workshops entail. And so the next few weeks on a Thursday, we'll be looking at the workshops and what you expect should you wish to come along to any of them. Adam has scoured through the messages and he has brought up a lot of the questions that have been asked. But again, please use this amazing channel, this feed that's grown us together and has really made us strong, this lovely group of comments. So please feel free to still ask any questions or comment on anything. So it's a little bit like Adam is interviewing me. It's just we won't get to see Adam's face. He's asking the questions that you've asked us. So today we're going to be talking about the chakra workshops, something that is very personal to me, something that I've took great satisfaction and great joy in creating these amazing full day workshops. So are we ready for the questions? Okay, so yes, so this one makes me laugh because I have been asked this in person as well. So our workshops on the chakras, we deal with one chakra at a day. And people do say to me, can you do a full day crystals for each chakra? And I say, actually, I could perhaps do 2 days on each chakra. And this is really important for me because when I was doing my training, we did take the simple approach and we made it simple and we took our time on the chakras. So it's something that I took away from my training and put it into this. We can learn about them in one day, all 7. Absolutely. There's some out there that will do the whole range in one day. But how many of us go to crystal shops and we buy the crystals, a mixture, and we'll be like, we'll know what they are. When we get home, I'll know what they are. I don't need them written down. We get home, we look at the bag and go, what's this one? What's that one? So I didn't want to go through that route of teaching the 7 chakras in one day, you taking the stones home, going home and going, what chakra is this crystal for? What chakra is this one? So it was really important to me that we will do a chakra a day. So when you go home and you practice, you know that the crystals you got for that day, what you've learnt is for that chakra, and that is it. So it just really simplifies it and just makes it a little bit more easy to let that knowledge settle in. Okay. So yeah. So we're based in Exeter, Kirsty, and you're not going off point at all. Don't feel afraid about that. So yeah, we're based in Exeter and we use a lovely centre, the Family Garden Centre. We hire out for the workshops. I've kind of been a bit of a gypsy. I've moved the rooms throughout the time of being there. We started off in a small room, then we took over the cafe bit, and now we've took over the garden rooms because it's a 2-room workshop. So that works brilliant for us. So yeah, in Exeter is where we're based and where we do them. Okay, so another yeah. So why do I have to start the base, or do we have to start the base? Yes. Nobody can come onto these workshops unless they've done the chakras below that workshop. And it's really vital. It's really important for me that we've worked with these workshops and we started with the base. The base is the first chakra. It's our foundation block. It's the stability. And I know people who have messaged me and said, can I come onto your solar plexus workshop? And I'm like, well, you need to do the base and the sacral. And they say, well, no, I've done the work. My base and my sacral is fine. I need to come onto the solar plexus. And I'm like, no, sorry, because I bring 6 different crystals to the base and I bring another 6 crystals to the sacral. When we get to the solar plexus, I've not got time to discuss what those crystals are and how we use them, because we did that in that workshop. So in the solar plexus, we work on the solar plexus crystals. So it's important that we work on the base. It's important we get that foundation block going, and we're working on that, giving them the foundation block to then work on the others. Do I have? Yes. We do need to complete them in order. We don't have no queue jumpers. We don't sell fast track tickets. We have to. It's an order. We can't balance one and then skip one and balance another. The one below is just as important as the one we're working on then. So when we do the workshops, we don't just work on that chakra we're working on. In the afternoon, we still work with the lower chakras because we're still going to be balancing those. So it all goes in order and we all work up and up. So it's very important that it's in order. Absolutely. Okay, so each workshop. So if we just take the 7 main chakras, we start with the base one. Okay. And this, I like working with song titles. Song titles came through when I was thinking of names for these workshops. So the first one is all about the base, which makes sense because it's all about the base chakra. And I bring 6 crystals for that workshop. Once we've done that, we then move on to the hips don't lie, the sacral chakra workshop. And this is where we work with this guy along with another couple of members of his family. Obviously the sacral chakra is around the hips, and you can't think of hips without thinking of Shakira. So hips don't lie is the sacral chakra workshop. So, oh, you're in Cornwall. Whereabouts in Cornwall are you, Kirsty? I spent 7 years living in Newquay, which I know for those who are local to Cornwall don't really class Newquay as Cornwall. It's the place where all those dirty people go. But I was there. And then the solar plexus chakra is walking on sunshine. Okay, the solar plexus is our power center. It's our sunshine. It's the center of our little solar system. And so like the center of our solar system, we have the sun. And the solar plexus, we have our sun. So walking on sunshine seemed to really fit. And we work with this guy. Then we come to the heart. When we got to the heart chakra, I was left with a predicament of what to do, because both greens and pinks resonate with the heart chakra. So for those people who were coming on board and were working up and were getting to the heart, I asked them, what would you like to do? Do I just bring 3 green and 3 pink? Or shall I do a weekend and we do green on the first day and we just work with 6 green crystals, and then we do the higher heart where we then pick 6 pink crystals? And the votes came back that they wanted to do a weekend. So we do a weekend when it comes to the heart. So you must be dedicated to do the both Saturday and the Sunday. We can't just do a Saturday and pick you up to do a Sunday later on, because the flow really goes. It's a really nice one. So when we do the green, the heart chakra, we have all you need is love, because it's for us. So it's all you need is love, and we need love for ourselves. And then we work with this one. And this is the higher heart, the pink on the Sunday. And this is Listen to Your Heart by the amazing Roxette. And that pink energy is that universal love, really going out there and connecting with that. So this is from the pinks. Then we move to the throat. Shout. You've got to have a bit of Lulu when you're making a chakra songbook. And this has already been mentioned today. I'm working with it currently. Lucy's working with it. And this is actually really, because I've been working with my new piece, I've not really looked at these pieces. And this is really glassy. I am loving that piece. And that just reminds me of Fox's Glacier Mint. So we're working with 6 different crystals on the throat chakra. Then we come to the third eye. You'll see where this one will come to us. Beautiful for the third eye. And then again, I've hit another obstacle coming into the crown, because like I mentioned before with the crystal connections, people move the colours around. Technically, when we do the crown, it's a violet colour, although we can use the white. And so it was really important that amethyst was going to be coming into this, and clear quartz. And I didn't want to do a weekend. So with the crown, I have got 3 white crystals coming and 3 violet crystals coming. And that represents perfectly with this crystal, which is part of the Crown Chakra workshop, called Purple Rain. And you should be able to see that this is perfectly got purple and it's got the white. So just show you with some of these pebbles. So you can see the perfect purple in that and the white. Lovely stuff. And so that's them. That's the 7 main workshops. Then we do work with the higher chakras. Oh, absolutely. And this is why I came about doing this. I came from a teacher who taught with integrity and taught with from the heart. It's a school where we're trained by Acho, but just like crystal sellers, you know, we could all buy from the same supplier, and that supplier will have their energy in that crystal, which is beautiful, energetic, and yes, we want those crystals because they shine. Once we buy those crystals, we then put our energy on that, and then we put on the stool. So it's like with Acho. Yes, they've got their curriculum, they've got their syllabus and their modules, but it's the teacher who puts it out there that I resonate with. And I couldn't resonate anyone better than Sue Weaver. She's just incredible. And learning through her really put me on the true path. And if I'm going to do something, I need integrity and I need my heart to be in that. And so with that, it feels right. And exactly when I see that people are getting certificates, and I've got people coming to my workshops who have got these certificates, and when they come to just do the day on the base, they're sitting there and going, how can people give you a certificate to say that you are trained in healing in 1 or 2 days when we've just covered a minute section, the base chakra in the whole module of a crystal healer is so tiny. So yeah, it's one reason that got me into doing that, because if you're going to do something, you need to really do it right. And it's not just about playing with crystals. For me, I like to bring the 6 crystals to each workshop to give people a different understanding of the level of those chakras. So with the base, we've got the heavy base grounding crystals, and we've also got the mid betweeners, and then we've got the lighter ones. With the sacral, we've got those that really go into the sacral and get rid of your emotional cupboard. But then we've also got the lighter, uplifting, joyful ones. So when people do this for 1 day, the participants aren't going to feel or experience those different levels. They're just going to be given this, this, and this, and off they go. And when I was looking at doing these chakra workshops, I started asking questions about the grounding area, because that's the first one I was going to be working on. Why aren't people grounding? Why don't people choose grounding crystals? And when I was asking what grounding crystals do they know, it was quite limited. You know, black tourmaline would be mentioned, smoky quartz would be mentioned, but black tourmaline is very heavy in grounding. So if you're working with black tourmaline to ground and you find that energy really heavy, you're not going to want to use that. Smoky quartz is a nice energy, but we have that quartz. So for some, they might feel a little bit more airy and a little bit more there. So you need something in between. So that's why I've got those coming round. Exactly, Caroline. Yeah, yeah, it is. It is worrying. It is worrying because a lot of these crystals do have, as we've talked about throughout the lockdown, they do have, you know, they have their toxicities. They have stuff that we perhaps don't have to put on the skin. There can be some that we can't use for heart conditions, things like that. So that it's when people are crystal healers but don't know the crystals, you know, I was having this conversation earlier on with somebody I was having a video chat with, and it's worrying. It is really scary. So for me, it's about when we're working on the base, we work with those base crystals. We connect with each of those crystals, and we all say how we discussed those crystals and how we felt with those crystals. And I'm learning. This is why I sit down and join the circle, because I'm learning as much as what these guys are who come. Because people will tell me things, I'm like, I've never got that with that crystal, but I can link in and I can see the connection. I can see why you got that. And I'm not saying that by the time you come onto the sacral, you should know all of those base crystals. I'm not going to say that at all. Because again, there might be some of those base crystals that resonate with you strongly and be like, yes, work with me. And you're like, yeah, I'll work with those. And then there's some that you're like, I didn't get that, which has happened. And I know there's people commenting who have been on my workshops and that's happened. So, and I'm like, good, because if I didn't bring that crystal, you wouldn't have had that strong connection to this chakra because that crystal wasn't there. So that's why there's a variety of crystals for that chakra. So people can really pick the right crystal for them and not just, you know, being a teacher standing there and going, for the base, we use red jasper. For the sacral, we use carnelian. Because me saying that is telling people what I get and what I feel with the crystal. And the workshops are all about what you get and what you feel. It's your discovery. It's your journey on working on your chakras, not mine. It's yours. I'm just there to just link in and, you know, help you on your way. You guys do the work. Did I go a bit off key there? I don't know. Yes. During lockdown, this question's been asked so many times. And I'm battling with it. I am battling with it because I do love face-to-face. There is something about getting a group of like-minded people together, and I open the circle in the morning. So I have my talking stick, and we send the talking stick around. So we introduce ourselves in the circle, and we open that. And for me, that is the most important part of the day, because when we open that circle, we're opening a circle of trust, respect, and love. And whatever goes on in that circle, whatever happens during that day, stays in that circle. At the end of the day, I close the circle by passing the talking stick around, and we've just closed it and we leave it there. I myself might take some examples from that day to help encourage other people on other different workshops. Should that ever happen, I never mention names. I never mention the gender of the person. I just, if I see that someone is struggling and they need some encouragement or reassurance, I might bring in that as a reference to help them to be a bit more reassured. But yeah, we open up that circle, and I love that. And to really connect, really just stand there and connect with these people while they're connected to their crystals. And in the afternoon, there's a lot of practical. So yes, we don't just connect with crystals, we have a practical element as well. So depending on how we do, I normally do 3 crystals, connect to 3 crystals, then we have a break, 15-minute coffee, toilet break, let those energies work through us, then we sit down and then we work on another 3 crystals, then we have lunch, which is normally about an hour, just because I love connecting with people and I want these people to connect with each other. So an hour's lunch, they have a chat. Absolutely. And this is why I like an hour lunch, because of this interaction. People learn, and working in a group is so much better than one-on-one. I don't do any one-to-one healing anymore. My couch is gone to the center now and is part of my group, because on one-to-one, that person is only going to be taking my advice and my knowledge, whereas in a group, that person can pick up on so many other people and really get that, Dan is not just gaslighting me, Dan is not just feeding me nonsense. This is actually happening because that person got that and that person got that. So doing it in a group is a reassurance. And then after lunch, we get the couches out and we go in a grid of each of the crystals. So we go in 6 grids with the 6 different crystals in a grid, so 1 in each corner. So the purpose of that is, if people didn't get a strong connection by holding the crystal, they might feel a stronger link being in a grid of that energy. Or if they did have a good connection, they might go in a little bit more detail being in a grid. And then after we do that, then we work on our chakras. So on the base, we work on the base chakra. We get to learn the techniques of how do you suss out an underactive and an overactive chakra. And then the crystals we suggest for that. And with the base, I never work on the base directly, because that's a personal area. And I never place a crystal around the genitals. Again, that is completely private area. Even though we're healers and we want to heal, there are still aspects of people's bodies that are personal and private. So I always work on the 2 thighs. We work with 2 crystals and we work with 1 on each of the thighs. That is fine. And that's because we're energy. So this is the physical crystal, but the energy is going out. Your chakra will have an energy that is going out. So if I've got one of these on one thigh and that's giving out energy, and then on the other thigh and that's giving out energy, those energies are going to meet in the base chakra. So I don't see there being any point in putting something there. We've tried and tested it, Adam and myself, and the human body moves. We breathe. We have shudders, shakes. And if the crystal fell off, the healer would be inclined to pick it back up and pop it back on again. And I don't want people to be spending time working in that area. And like I said, it's a private area. We just avoid that and place it there. So there's that practical. And then when we get on to the higher chakras, when we move up to the sacral, we still work with the base. So I have the base crystals on the table. And when we do the practical, we always work on the lower chakras, working up to that chakra we're there with the workshop. So for the sacral, we still do the pendulum. We still look to see if the base is overactive, underactive. We put stones on that, and then we work on that sacral chakra. When we come to the solar plexus workshop, we work with the base, we work with the sacral, we work with the solar plexus. We don't miss out the chakras. We still go down that line. Am I talking too fast? Is everybody comprehending? Are we all good for people talking? Has anybody asked anything? So the groups, I tend to like to keep it around 6, because I bring 6 crystals. It's nice to have 6 people, and I don't want to overload it, because it's surprising how long it takes to go through the crystal connections. And it's important for me that I get to hear everybody's connection. I want to know where they're at. I want to know what they're experiencing. I don't have anyone being quiet and being in the back of the group and missing out. We're in a circle. We're all facing each other. We can see each other. So it's important, and it's time consuming. So keeping it 6 means that I get to do that effortlessly, and everyone gets their say. And I'm not like, oh no, sorry, cut it short. Let's move on to this one. No, actually, we won't hear you this time. We'll get that. Sometimes we've got a little bit crazy. I think the throat chakra I did, I think we had 8 people. But when people have been working in the groups and have been working around, then it's nice to sometimes get that. So yes, you don't necessarily be in the same group. Like I said, it's a personal journey. It's your own development. So the groups will no doubt change. And this is one of the reasons why everybody starts with the base and everybody works up. So when you come to the sacral, you might not know anybody in that circle, but you will know that they've all done the base. If you go to the solar plexus and you don't know anybody in that group, be assured they've all done the base, they've all done the sacral, they're all there to be on the solar plexus. So if anybody has any wobbles, if anybody has any release, I just want to create that safe environment where they feel free to, rather than thinking, oh, you've not done the work on the lower chakras, so you don't understand where I'm coming from, therefore I'm going to keep this to myself. Because that's the complete opposite of the object of the workshops. It's all about self-help and helping one another, really working in the groups. But it is nice when people play catch up and you see them meeting and it's like, oh, how are you? You did the base with me, or you did the sacral with me, and having that little connection. And I just love that, where they meet up. And I think that's what happened at the throat. I had 2 groups, and some of them hadn't seen some of them for a long time, and some of them hadn't seen some of them for a long time. So I thought, oh, let's bring them together and let's have a good old catch up and a knees up, which is what happened. And it's great. It's really nice, because then they discuss how they felt on that workshop, or how they've been, And for some people, it has been life-changing. And I hope they get to see it in themselves. Because for me, seeing how people have been when they've joined the base, they are completely different to where they are now. I can sit back and, just think, wow, you've done work, you've done so much self-discovery and self-help and self-healing that you've really got to this stage. And as somebody who does these workshops, I think that's the biggest compliment anyone could give me, is for me to physically see their improvements and how they've come on leaps and bounds from where they were at the base. And people have gone through extraordinary life changes, even from signing up to the workshop to actually coming onto the base. There's been stuff that's gone on in their life, and I felt like, okay, it's a new chapter. Let's concentrate on you. And now, there's one person that comes to mind. They've just done the throat, and they are just an amazing energy. Absolutely just a ball of joy. And it's such a pleasure to see that person and just think, yes, girl, you have done it. It's really rewarding. I just, I come away from those workshops, and I just feel such a huge reward for seeing these changes, seeing these improvements. And no, people say there's not a time frame. You come on board when you are ready. I don't harass you. Some people will say to me, let me know when the next one is. I will message you and say, this is the next workshop. If they say, oh, great, but the time's not right, that's where it ends. And then I will send you when the next one is. I will not drag people along. You're not tied to any contract. It's about you and when it feels right for you. 2018 was when I first launched the base and the sacral workshops. It was just the base workshops because I didn't think anyone else would come on to any of the other workshops. I just thought, I'll just do the base, and if they don't want to carry on and they just want to go away from the base, at least they've got some knowledge of grounding crystals. At least they've worked on their base chakra, which is a great improvement in itself. So I did the base, and then later on the sacral came up because people did want to come onto the sacral workshop. And then 2019 was the year where I then brought out the solar plexus and then the heart weekend later on in the year. And then this year was going to be where I was bringing out the throat, the third eye, and the crown. I did one throat workshop. Thank you, universe. So on that throat workshop, I had people who were with me from 2018, because obviously they're waiting for these workshops to be launched before they come on. And I even had some people from last year come on board because they felt it right, and they've done the workshops that I've put out there, and they've come on board. So I do assess people. I do look at if people have had a real release, a real shift in one workshop, then I look at how they are when they come to the next one, and just to make sure that they've really worked with those crystals before they come on to the next. But so far, people have flowed really well. So next year, 2021, was meant to be the year of bringing out a couple of the higher chakras, the Earth Star, the Soul Star, and maybe even the Spirit Chakra. But it might be that next year will be the third eye and the crown. I can't see those happening this year, but who knows? Maybe Boris Johnson will be one of my attendees and I can sort his chakras out and he becomes a changed man. Not putting my hopes up on that one. Yes. Pricing. How do you price a workshop? My time is the most precious thing that I could give to people, and I don't charge a lot for my time. I gladly give my time to anyone who shares my passion and wants to be in that space with me. So the workshops are, I forgot, £35. When we first started, they were £30 for the full day. That's 10 till 5, 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. They were 30, but the centre did put the rates of the room higher. So this year we've gone up to 35. Next year, if they put it up, it might be 40. So that's for the full day. But then also, I want it to be a price where anyone and everyone can come to. I don't want it to restrict people in coming, because it can be, it is a cost, it is an investment. You are, if you're coming to all 7 workshops, that accumulates, and then it's double that for the Heart Weekend. So I do appreciate that for some it can be costly, so I want to keep it at a price where it's affordable for everyone. And then also you've got the price of the crystals on top. I didn't want to do it as a package. I didn't want to work out a cost for you come for the full day and I give you the crystals, because like I said earlier on, there was some people who resonated with some crystals and there's some people who didn't resonate, and I don't want them going away with a crystal they didn't resonate with. That's pointless. Yeah, further on down the line that crystal might come out and jump at them, but yeah, I don't want them to sit there and go, well, I don't know what this crystal was called because I didn't connect with it, so I wasn't really thrilled with it. So we have the workshop at that price. Then any crystals that call to you and you want to work with further, then there is the option to buy on top of that. So and yeah, when will we be running our next workshop? Well, look, it's lovely. Throughout lockdown we have had inquiries, so it's looking that a base workshop will be coming out. It might be the first one we do, but also on the back end of this, and how amazing the people who have come on the workshops are, I do run a Healing Hands workshop. And some of you might have discovered that there is a group on Facebook called the Healing Hands Chakra Journey Workshop. Unfortunately, you can't join that group unless you've been on the workshops, because that is for us to get together, discuss, see how everybody's doing, where everybody is at. And I wanted these workshops to happen, the Healing Hand workshops, because on the chakra workshops, the practicals are only little bits. We only get to really practice little bits of the practical. So the Healing Hand workshops are for people to come, and it's just a day of practicing the practical techniques and really working on each other. If you want to connect with a crystal, connect with a crystal. It's about what you want to get out of that day. So if you just want to work with the base crystals, work with the base crystals. If you want to work with the crystals you've just worked with, do that. It's a day of practical, just healing. So I do feel that I will also be doing one of those days, because I just want everyone to come together, have a big, massive hug, but for me to then physically check in on where people are at. Where are they up to in life? What are they confident in doing? And then once I've spent a day with those guys, then I'll know what workshops we'll be running next. So watch Dan Rocks, watch the business page. When things start lifting and shifting, then we will be putting up an announcement for our base workshop. But it's, for me, it's really important. I need to get together with these groups of people that have been with me from 2018 onwards. I need to connect and see, and they're not just people on Facebook. There's 4 or 5 of them that I connect with just on emails. So it's not like the Healing Hands Facebook page. I can connect to everybody because I can't. There's some people who don't do Facebook and emails. So to be there in the physical is really important to me. And while they're healing, while they're doing what they want to do, it might just be that we all just pay our money and sit there and just connect, chat, hug, and allow me to see, right, where do I go? Because my schedule has completely gone out the window for this year. So I'm going to need the existing workshopees, the existing rockers, to help me out as to where we go moving forward and what people are doing. Because there's no point in me throwing a sacral workshop if those who have done the base are not ready to move up to that, and for any of the workshops. So it's important for me to connect with those lovely energies to see what's going on. And absolutely, I've just seen you there, Leslie. The price of the workshop makes it possible to buy more lovely crystals, and that's what it's about. The reason I walked away from being a one-to-one healer is that, why am I healing? Why? I want to give people the tools to heal themselves. That's what it's about. It's not about having Joe Blogs coming here once a month for me to put crystals on. So the workshops came about so I can give Joe Blogs the tools to work themselves. So yeah, the more money that there is for you guys to buy the crystals, the better, because they're the guys that are healing you. I'm just the legs to put those crystals on you. So they're the ones that are going to be helping. So yeah, so the base, as soon as Boris gives us the green light, base would be first, with a Healing Hands around there as well, because I need to connect. I see that there are people popping up, commenting, who have come onto this journey, and I need to connect with you guys. No. As soon as you've done the base chakra, as soon as you've done the first chakra, I will add you to the group, and you can absolutely come to the Healing Hands day just by doing the base, because there's so much more you could do with the base. You know, there might have been a crystal when you came to the base chakra that you didn't connect with. The Healing Hands, you can go and take yourself away and connect with that crystal. We do what is called the base chakra layout, where we use all the base chakra stones on the chakras. So that's something that people can work on. There is so much more. Don't ever feel inadequate by just only having the base if you're working with somebody who has done up to the throat, because you can still do more. You can still do a lot with just those crystals, as well as those who have gone on the other. So no, as soon as you've done the base, you're welcome to come on. When I do the healing hands, we're on all different levels. All I ask for is, when you come to the healing hands, only work with the crystals in the chakras you've done. I don't want you working with the heart crystals if you've only done the sacral, the base and the sacral. So only work to the level that you've done. And I bring the worksheets and give you the tips and the sheets on what you can do with those stones you've got. And it's vast. It's, you know, it's amazing what you can do. And also, I always need helpers. I always need people to help me out on the day. And I've always said, once you've done the sacral chakra, which gives me my inkling that if you've been on the base and you've been on the sacral, if I'm ever in need of a helper, I will ask people to come and help me for the day. Yeah, last year, Leslie, I did do weekenders, because I have got people like yourself from the Isle of Man. You've come to different workshops, which we'll cover on another Thursday. But I've got a lady in Manchester who comes down for my chakras, Worcester, Oxfordshire, Derby, Herefordshire or Hertfordshire, and a lovely base around Devon and Cornwall have come to do those. So I have done the base and the sacral together, but this year we were looking at not doing that, because we were getting some people who needed the time apart. So I've always said to people, when they come for the workshop and it's a weekend, the base and the sacral, I always say, don't be put out if after the base I ask you to come back at a later date to do the sacral. Because if there's a lot of release working on the base, and I feel that the energy needs to be in the base chakra, then I'll ask you not to come for the next day for the sacral. So, but yeah, this, we did decide that we were just going to do the base and then leave it separately for them to come to the sacral. But if we've got people coming from further afield and we've got more of those, then I will happily do a weekend. So any other questions? So, and I was talking about being a helper. So this is where it comes in handy. Say if you've done the base, but then you've perhaps done the sacral in about 8 months' time. And then it might be another while before you've done the solar plexus. You might say to me, saying, Dan, it's been quite a while since I've done the base and I'm ready to do the solar plexus, but I'm kind of forgetting where I am with the base or the sacral. Then I'll say, okay, I've got a base workshop running here. Why don't you come and be my helper so you can recap yourself? Or if it's the sacral you're struggling with, this is my next sacral. Come as a helper, have a recap. get yourself back into the groove, and then are you ready to do the solar plexus? Okay, here's the next solar plexus one. So because there's no time scale, there might be massive gaps from you doing the workshops in between. So there's always an open there for you to come in and refresh, but you can only help me on a workshop that you've done. So you can just recap. And I mean, basically, I'm saying my helper. You just come and be my extra seat, keep me company, and just have another lovely day. And if you come to be my helper, that's a free of charge place. I don't charge you twice for doing the same workshop. You come as a helper, you come to refresh, and that is that. Yeah, Nikki, for some it might be an info overload. So yeah, so if they've come to me after doing the base and a sacral weekend, and if I'm getting constant messages throughout the next month of, did we do this on the base or did we do this on the sacral? Then I'll say, right, come to my next sacral workshop. Again, you'll be a helper. I won't charge you, and just get the knowledge of just the sacral, because that was the reason why we decided to separate the base and the sacral, because for some people the base was just becoming a bit of a blur, and they seemed to be picking up more sacral than there was the base. So yes. You're nodding. Okay. Any more? So I'm just trying to catch up on these amazing comments. Thank you so much for. Absolutely. I do have, I mean, Sarah, I do have a lovely couple who are married, and it's her sister that's in Manchester, and they're based in Devon. And I've had them in as helpers for quite a few times, because if the sister's not been able to come down, and sometimes the wife doesn't want to come along, she wants to wait for the sister. So I've said to the husband, you come along, you do the workshop, and once the wife and the sister are coming down, you come and be my helper. I've had it where they have come both as a couple to do a workshop, and then the sister has come down, and I've had them both again, because I've had 2 free seats. If someone's gone down ill and I've had to back away from doing the workshop, and I've needed seats to fill, I've asked them. There's another lovely lady who is hovering around in the comments, I don't want to mention names, who comes with her amazing husband, and they've come as a couple. I've messaged them the night before and gone, I've had a cancellation, I've got 2 spare seats, would you 2 want to come and help me out with a workshop? Yeah. I would rather have the numbers, I'd rather have the 6 numbers and the even numbers, especially when we get to the practical side of things, than having that spare wheel and having that odd person. I'm like, okay, what do we do? Because I can't lie on the couch. Dave, I can't be on the couch having Christmas on me when I've got other people around me not knowing what they're doing. So it's a bit, so I'd rather have that extra person or 2 people to make the numbers blend, so that, and tea and coffee and biscuits are provided. Absolutely. You bring your own lunch, but there's always refreshments throughout the day, a wide range of teas and other people. And this is what I love. At the moment, we're in the situation with the chakras where people bring their home bakes. I have no idea what's going to come through that door. I supply some biscuits and stuff, but someone's like, oh, I've been baking, here's a cake for you all, because I know that I was going to be working with that person and that person, and the energies are going to be lovely, so here's a cake. And it's like, just literally, you guys who have been on here throughout lockdown, the way that you love in this community and the group that's forming, that's what the Chakra workshops are like on a physical level. We're there for one another. And my time doesn't end when the workshop ends. Literally, my laptop is there. Messengers send me. I always offer my services outside of the workshops. So if anyone gets lost, if anyone gets any confusion or doubts or want to tell me about their connections, I'm there. That comes within the price of your workshops. So yeah, it is. Fun is what I want, Nikki. I want it to be fun. Sometimes, as you've sometimes have seen over on the live crystal markets or on here, sometimes the crystals will bring in the fun, and we can have a slip up of a word and the whole day has gone down cracking. I know my first ever base workshop I did down at the centre, I had to gift everyone a piece of fossilised wood, a tumblestone of fossilised wood, because we were setting into doing the wood. Obviously, I said something that could have been taken another way, and I couldn't stop laughing. I tried to get people to get in the zone to connect with the keeper, the spirit of wood. I couldn't because I was laughing. That made them laugh. And it took a couple of attempts, and I went, we can't do this. Let's have a tea, coffee break. Let's come together and move on to the next crystal. And I had to let them take a tumble home as an apology for me, but so they can connect with wood in their own personal. Even that makes me want to chuckle. But we are the rockers. We are the rockers. We're here to rock, and you guys rock. For those of you who have been on live with me constantly through this, you rock. And for those of you who are on here who have been doing the workshops, you're also rocking. If we can't have fun, then there's something seriously wrong, and we have to. I mean, I think I can say this at this time of night, but for instance, we had a workshop where the owners of the centre were having their own, I think it was a Halloween party they were having, but they had a treasure hunt involved, and they were going to be having a bonfire, which I said, that's absolutely fine. I'm over in the other room. We should be okay. But the kids were a little bit noisy. They were coming outside and they were a little bit noisy, but they managed to contain them and take them away. And it got to the afternoon, and I was doing the practicals, and we just swapped over from client to healer to healer to client. So it was the other person's time to be on the couch. And I saw them coming out with a torch to light the bonfire. And the guys who were being the clients were just settling down, and I went, just a word of caution. It looks like the nymphomaniacs are coming out to light the fire. And then I saw a few puzzled faces on people on the couches, and one girl turned around and she went, the nymphomaniacs? And I went, oh my God, no, I meant to have said the pyromaniacs. And that was a 5-10 minute giggling overload of loveliness, why I had to try and read track of, I have not got nymphomania on the mind. I have no idea why I looked at adults carrying a lit torch and that came to mind rather than Pyromaniac. So that's the way the crystals like to play around with me and make me look like a laughing stock. But we go with that flow. It's brilliant. So it is just, yeah, Moldavite. We don't sell Moldavite on a live market ever again. Oof, that was mean. That was not good. That was very bad. So yeah, any other questions at all? It's been really nice. I thought nobody would come on. I was expecting this to be quite low because I thought, oh, would people be interested? But you know, that's what's going to be happening. It's what we do. So thank you so much to Biggles for supplying the questions that you guys have asked in the past, and hopefully the people who've asked those questions have been on board and have been here. So yeah, thank you all. Tomorrow night, it's Friday already. God, if I was doing my muggle job, it would be Monday midday. I can't believe how quick this is going. Oh God, yeah, Shardy, I know. Now I am having to look because it's Biggles who takes the pictures for the market. So I do have to look and see where he has listed the crystals and what order. So yeah, I have to make sure that there's some high, low, and not a build up. I mean, Moldavite followed by Lemurian. What was he doing to me? You know? So yeah. So tomorrow night is a live market. We do have the preview page all up and running. Some amazing pieces on there. Those toadstools. Have people seen those toadstools? Am I allowed to comment sold? I would love one. Although there's going to be, I'm going to have to be careful how I show some of them because some of them can be quite questionable, I would say. So yes, see you all tomorrow, live at 5 on here for our market. And don't forget, there is free clear quartz for everybody that purchases. Okay, whether you've purchased something that's £2 or whether it's £15, you will get a free clear quartz in your parcel. So share with your friends, tell your family, and you don't feel you have to buy. We're still going around the world. It's still an education. So you can just come on board and enjoy the education of it. Okay, so see you all tomorrow. Have a good evening. Thank you for joining us. Bye bye.